Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Joshua and this is Rooftop. In today's workshop, we're going to be looking at how we can create a mirror tray. So what exactly is a mirror tray? So what we are going to be using is we have a wooden tray like this. And for lip and art, we had used, this tiny mirrors. So we have that as well over here. And then I have a small bowl to mix the paint, and along with that I have acrylic paints, some glue, and a very new material, POP or plaster of Paris. So this workshop would require quite a few materials, but if you have it at home or if you can get it at home, it will be a wonderful thing that you and your family can create as well. So let's get started and see how we go about it. Okay, fine. So here I have my tray. Let me just show it to you. A tray showcase. Okay. So I have my tray here. What I will do first is I will try to design, or I will try to make a layout for the glass over here. So what I will do first is I would want some borders. So I will take a specific kind of shape. So let's say like this. I'll just keep it in my hand so you can see this kind of shape, hexagon kind of shape. Now just take all of them. Like that. Now the reason why I'm taking so many of them at once is because I want to stick them down, but I need to sort of compose it, and then I can decide whether I'm happy with this design or if I want to make any changes or maybe add something extra to it. So I have the glass over here ready. It's quite a noisy batch. So what I want is I want to create some borders over here. So I'll just place that there. I think what I can do is I can even keep some tiny diamond shaped ones also. So if you have a big tray, you would naturally need a lot more of this. And if you have a medium sized clay, it would be a lot easier. So right now I'm using quite a big size. So I'll just place this there, put this one also, put that down like this. So we'll start by putting all of this over here. And when we stick this down, right, we want to make sure that it is stuck down very firmly. We don't want it to be loose in any shape or form. Same thing there. Okay, so that will be like the top, and then I can add these small diamonds in between. Now I'll put it down very roughly. I'm not going to try positioning it as perfectly as possible, but I just want to see what it would look like if at all I do decide to stick with this. So this can be quite a time-consuming process, but of course all good things come in time, or something like that. I don't know the quote. All good things come to those who wait. I think that was a quote. So I guess we gotta wait it out. Put this there. Pull this closer. Like that. Okay, so the borders will be something like this. So not just at the top, but at the sides and at the bottom also. So now what I will do is I will take my glue and I will start sticking them one by one. And remember, we want it to be quite firm, so we will put quite a bit of glue and put it to the side. Same thing with this. And just move all of that to the side. Now that we know that we want it like that. And quite a bit of glue. And we can stick it to the side. Now if you have small fingers, this will be a little easy. For me, my fingers are quite big, so it's like trying to hold an ant without trying to crush it. Over there. So for today's one, we're not going to make a very complicated one, as the size is quite big, but what I will show you is, if at all you decide on making one of your own, then this is how you would go about it, like that. Yeah. Or what we can also do, right, is I'll just put glue down like this here. Hold on. Okay. Now I can just take this and place it down. I know this is not a size you're used to seeing me work with, but that's the whole point of these lives. We try something new every day. See, like that. And this is all glue over here for those of you who have just joined. And one of the reasons why I'm using, two different types of mirrors over here is because the more variation you have, the more attractive your artwork looks. Or anything, even when it comes to your clothing, when you mix, two different types of styles, maybe two different types of outfits, they turn out to be pretty nice. Again, we need to make sure this is put in quite properly, because we do not want it to come out when we start putting the POP. So just press it and make sure that it is in place. Same thing here. Press it down and then turn it. And I can move these back over here. Now, has any one of you tried lip-in art? Because in my previous workshops, I had done, I think, 1 or 2 lip-in art workshops. Okay, so once you put the glue down right like this, you need to make sure you don't take too much time to apply the glass down, because once this dries it will be very difficult to re-put the glue. Same thing here, the diamond. Oh yeah, and the shadow you can see it much better. I was trying to put it in the light and I remembered it's a mirror, so it'll just be a little too bright if I do that. Like that. And make sure you press it down quite firmly, because we don't want it to lift up, because once we add the POP we need to sort of scrub it down, so in that process the glass shouldn't come out. And don't put this at the very corner, put it at where the center of all of these would be. That way once you press it down the glue can spread really nicely. Like that. Yeah. And press it down. Then over here we can add the last one and make sure you press it down also. So there we have the top part done. Now we'll try to add a bit also in the middle, of course, once we are done with all four sides. But in the middle we'll try to fit in a bit here and there. We won't go to fill the entire thing. Now this side. Now I need to rotate this so that my fingers can reach in. Okay. Now I'll put this hexagon shaped one. And this side as well. Make sure you press it down. Now the only reason I'm repeating this is because it is quite an important part of it. Because if you don't press it down correctly and it doesn't stick well, it will just cause an issue to you. Like this. Okay. Now you get different sizes also of this glass or this mirror, but most of the time you get very or relatively small to medium sizes. So when you do end up working on this, make sure you have the correct size, what do you say, either the mirrors or the correct size glass. And Fevicol is one of your best options for things like this. That's good. Same thing here. Press it down. Yeah. So has any one of you done the lip and art workshop that I've previously shown? Or if not done, maybe watched it or have some prior experience with it? And just be a bit careful that, see, to make sure it dries really well. This, press it down, because if the glue is thick, right, the glue will try to come back in between once you press it, right? It spreads, and since it is thick, it will try to come back together, and that will lift up the mirrors that we are applying. There you go, look at that. It's already starting to look so good. Okay, now I will apply some glue here. This piece is going to be a bit tricky because, okay, it fit in quite well. Not bad. Let's see if I am ambidextrous by using my left hand. The real problem starts with these tiny, you can barely even see it. There you go. That's where the real trick starts. Good. My fingers are so big for this. And especially in the corners, it is a bit tricky for me. And then we'll put this over here also. So I'm going for a hexagon and then a diamond, hexagon, diamond, hexagon, diamond for all the 4 borders, you could say. Okay, there is music playing in the background. I got worried for a second. Like, oh no, you'll have to hear my voice all throughout this workshop. What do you guys think about this so far? Are you liking how it's looking, at least in the initial stages? Because everyone who does art knows this, that the initial stages is the make or break for your art piece. Because sometimes, even though it may end up looking really well, when you start working on it, you're like, I don't know, is it good? Should I continue? Should I stop? Should I start again? And then you can lose a bit of motivation in between. But trust me, for those of you who it has happened to, it is wow, it's not even letting me accept it. But it has happened to me as well. It has happened to myself. So you're not alone. As Zac Efron said, we're all in this together. I hope at least one of you know who Zac Efron is. I'm just tilting it and seeing whether it is laying flat or certain parts are lifted up, or how is it. This side as well. And see, a bit of glue is sticking onto the middle because of my fingers, so we'll try to clear that out from the beginning itself, like as soon as you notice it. Has any one of you tried this specific type of mirror tray? Maybe something along the same lines. Come on, we're almost there. I'm really excited for the POP part, because that part it's going to be very satisfying. And for the first timers who are using POP, which is like myself, I haven't used POP before. I just know that once I get it right and I apply it down, it's going to be a very satisfying, finish. Okay, and then here, so you guys can comment and I can see them, right? So we can have a conversation also. It doesn't have to be related to this specific workshop. You can ask me anything related to art, maybe about myself, maybe about what we do. Maybe you can ask me something that you would want to know about art or painting, whatever it may be. Could be colors, color theory, color mixing, how to use certain mediums. like that. We need to start taking out a bit more. Press it down. Okay, finally we have one corner left, and then we have this entire center part. So close yet so far. Okay, so why don't you all tell me what is the longest a painting or an artwork has taken you to complete? And if you want to tell me what type of a painting it was, you can tell me that also. And then I can tell you how long I took with the longest, with a piece of artwork, and how long it's taken for me to finish it as well. Why don't you let me know in the comments so that we can all share a pain together. So why don't you tell me how long it has, or how long as maybe your one piece has taken to finish, or what's the longest a piece of artwork has taken to complete? I think I'm forgetting how to speak English. How long has one piece of art taken to complete? I don't think that's even grammatically correct. Okay, let's have a English lesson here. How long has a piece of art taken for you to complete? No, what is the longest time? Yeah. What is the longest a piece of art has taken you to complete? At this point, I'm just practicing for IELTS exam. Come on guys, drop a comment. There's nothing to be afraid about. I need to show my face on camera. None of you have to. If you want to know how you can tell it, you can tell maybe the duration, the type of painting it was, and the medium it was in. So you could say 10 hours, a painting of a landscape in acrylic medium, something like that. I'm not going to judge anyone. Let's see who has the longest amount of time spent on an artwork. Come on guys, what are you waiting for? Okay, do you want me to start? If you want me to start, I will. Oh, hello Neha. So as I was saying, if you want me to start, I won't start until someone says, okay, why don't you start first? Now over here I will add 2 diamonds because there isn't much space. I think Yeah, these two would fit. Okay, Neha, why don't we start with you? What is the longest a piece of artwork has taken you to complete? Yeah. What is the longest? Okay, now that we're done with this part, I feel like I'm eating food, taking some rice. Okay, now let me see what else do I have here and whether I have enough of them. So I have some big squares. Squares are diamonds. You can decide what it is depending on how you use it. Nine months. Damn. Okay, I was thinking, maybe a week or something. 9 months is insane. And how big was the piece of art? And how big was the artwork? Did you have a break in between, or was it every day continuously for 9 months? Still under process. That's insane. So how big is it, approximately? Because now I'm curious. How big is this artwork, and is it on canvas or is it on a cloth or something like that? So I'll just remove all these first. Now taking this out is quite a hassle. Oh, you took a break, a long gap. Okay, so up until where you finished, how long did it take you to get to where you finished? Because we're not counting gaps here. That way I have paintings from at least 5 years ago that is still under process. I'm a bit skeptical to sit with it. Oh, I think maybe it's because it's been a while since you've sat down with it, which is understandable. For me, sometimes if I don't get back to a painting after a certain amount of time, I just consider that painting discarded. Of course, I'm not here to tell you to do the same thing. Do not take me as an example, please. But if you do want to continue, I would suggest you just start with it. Don't think about it too much. Just sit down with it and then just continue. Then once you start the first step of where you left off from, it will then be a lot, or you will feel a lot more willing to continue the work. So on canvas, I really don't remember the size. Okay, no problem. Okay, so I have these squares and diamond shapes here. Of course, they are different because look at that. If you keep it like this, you can see one is a square, one is a rhombus. Rhombus? Yeah, rhombus, yeah. I think that's what it's called. It's been a long time. These past 5-6 years has been only square, circle, triangle, square, circle, triangle. If I'm lucky, maybe rectangle, which is no different once again. Okay, so I think over here, I'll take the diamonds first. I need to check if I have, enough of them for both the sides. How long it's been? It's been only half an hour. Okay, not bad. It felt like an hour was over. I should be able to complete this, in this session, but worst case scenario, if I'm not able to, then we can have a part 2 the way we had for, I think it was Pattachitra, I don't recall, but there was another workshop where I had to divide it into 2 sessions. Okay, we have one side ready. And then over here, let's see how big it is. We will use a piece of Fevicol for measurement. Somewhere here, right? Okay, so this side. Yeah, that's about right. See, you don't really need a ruler every time. Whenever I think to restart it, life happens. Understandable. But I think that's the part of life. We need to control life. We don't need to let the life. We don't need to let life control us. It sounds kind of cliche, but I think that's one of the best ways to, get what you want to do on track. Okay, that looks good enough. Nice. Now comes the tricky part. I'll just leave all of this in the middle. I'm not going to bother with it too much. I need to make sure that this is as centered as possible. Not bad. Now that I have this glue assumably straight, I can start by putting this . I need to make sure that this is straight. Okay, now I'll take another one from the corners, or maybe this from the tip. Hopefully straight enough. Is this straight? Okay, I think I can make it a bit like this. Okay. Now on to the next. Nice. Now remember, it's not only sticking these mirrors down onto the tray. We're going to be adding a bit of POP also to it. This is going to give a pretty cool effect. again. Now since I'm going from corner to corner and not edge to edge, it is a bit difficult to really figure out whether it is straight or not. But I think so far it's looking pretty straight. Will this fit? It doesn't seem to be fitting for some reason. Didn't it initially fit? Oh, there was a bit gap in between them. That's why. I'll just keep some gap over here. Very little, very minimal gap. So when this gap accumulates, is something not straight here? Okay, there you go. Much better. Okay, now all of this also I can just move it to the side and then draw a straight line. Where was this? 2, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5 over here. Okay. Again, we'll take this, put it down, yeah, there you go. It's starting to look really good. So what do you guys think about it so far? I think that looks pretty straight as well. Oh yeah, I was supposed to tell you how long one of my paintings also took me. So for me, the longest time taken to do a piece of work was about, say, 9 days. Like 9 days, and per day I spent around 8 to 9 hours on the painting. And it was a full figure work. And I had made that painting of a friend who is very dear to me. That painting also was, I think you could say, somewhere around this big, so around 4 feet. It was 4 or 5. I think it was 6 by 4 feet. Yeah, 6 by 4 feet. And it was an oil painting. And I'm using one too many hands. Okay, nice. Now I'll take the squares. And I can add this type of design here. Yeah, it looks good. So I'll remove this one first. Then I will put some glue onto this. I'm going to put quite a bit of glue. Make sure that we have it straight, like that. Put this down also. Yeah, like that. And then here also I'll put a little bit. Please don't stick to I'll take this, rotate it, and I'll put it down like that. Ooh, fancy. I'll do another one here. I think I can do maybe 3 on each side. Okay. So I think we have plenty of these here. So I'll just place them down first so that I have, the correct placement and the correct measurement. Make sure it is aligned, so on and so forth. Because that is what you got to do when you create art. Okay, that seems good enough. Now I will take the glue. See, although I'm putting it just in the center, once I put it down and press it, it will spread automatically. Is that in line? It's very difficult to see. Yeah, there you go. Same thing here. Just like that. My voice is low. Oh, is the music too loud, or is it just my voice that is low? Maybe I was speaking low, I'm not sure. Is it still low? Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Back in the day when Wi-Fi wasn't, really big, and we had dial-up internet. You try to call your relatives, and half the conversation is just, "Hello, can you hear me? Hello." That's what this feels like. I hope you can hear me. Ooh, that's a bit too much. Am I audible? Okay. For a second, I thought you were pulling a prank where you said, "You can't hear me," and then just leave the live. And I'm left saying hello for the rest of the live. Okay, I think initially you couldn't hear me because I was, talking to myself while doing this, sort of mumbling words. Okay, great. Okay, now I think we can do this over here also. And put this down. Make sure I center it. Okay, like that. Okay, and then we'll take another two more. So why don't you guys tell me, what type of songs do you like listening to? Or maybe if you don't want to, call yourself out with the type of music you listen to, you can guess what type of music I listen to. A little lower. Like this, and center it. And then we're almost done with this, and then we can start with painting the box or the tray, whatever you like to call it. Just like that. Okay. Oh, I think my glue is getting over. Get a small dot, and we put this in here. Maybe it's a bit too much glue, but let's see. The main part of this is the POP section, which we can only get into once all of these pieces of mirror dry out, because if we try to jump into it too quickly, it can just start coming out, and then your work will double for no reason. Okay, so this is what we have made so far. I think it looks pretty nice. Now we just need to figure out what can we do in the middle over here. Okay, so we can start off by seeing what all do we have. So this is what I have here. I have this circle, but is it big enough? Looks kind of tiny. Okay, this seemed to be stuck pretty firmly. That is good. I'm not going to touch any of this. It is still wet since I put quite a bit of glue in it. Okay, I think if we have more of this diamond shape, right, I think we can make like a flower of some sort. So let me see how many I have of this. Hopefully I have enough. So if I put this over here, oh, that will turn out really nice. Lovely, look at this. Nice. And then what if I add this here? Will it fit? I think so. Let me see, let me experiment a bit before I finalize it. Like that. Same thing here. And here. And there. And there. I need to see what looks good. So when you're coming up with designs, you can check how to, okay, that just looks like a mess. So I think I'll remove these extra two that I have added there. That looks good. And then around this, we can add maybe this over here. What else do I have with me in stock? So when I started this workshop, I didn't think of a fixed design, but I chose to rather think about it on the spot, so that when you want to create an artwork of your own, or this mirror tray of your own, you can see how I go through the planning process, the experimentation, the composition, and so on and so forth. Okay, so before I start with any of that part, I will dump this in one side. Okay, I'll start off with this circle first. I think these are the same size. Okay, I'll start by just placing this in the center first, like I think somewhere around here. Okay, that is a good spot. Just take my pencil and mark it over there. Over here, yeah, perfect, look at that. And then this also. Come on. And we'll keep some gap. We won't keep it so close to the circle also. We'll keep a little bit of gap so that we can add the POP in between. And that will make it, look a lot more interesting. And then here as well. One here. And then the final one. Okay, it just got stuck on my hand. I hope there's enough glue on it, now that half of it came onto my hand. So I can just start adjusting it. Like that. Okay. Not bad. Yeah. Now I will take these oh, that is a lot of glue. I can stick them around here. Same thing with this one. I think this one I can lift it a bit higher. Yeah, that looks good. And here also I'll take this. Put that there. So what do you guys think about it? How does it look so far? Do you all plan on, trying to make this at home? Or it's just, interesting to look at? Okay, I've added that there. Now if I take this diamond shape, how would it look if I added these small squares here. So see, I'm experimenting as I go with it to see what looks good or what can change, and vice versa. That looks nice. That's pretty good. I think I'll continue with this. Just make sure that this is pointing in between the gap. Remove this. Over there, and then this last one. Put it right here, so that you can see now what I have done so far. It's quite shiny. Let me see if I can show it in front camera. But let me show it to you in the front camera. Okay. Wow, my hair is really not in agreement with me. Okay. So I hope it doesn't fall. But this, oh, look at that. That looks great. Ooh. Okay. Let's start. Okay, now we can see whether we want to add, anything more to this, or are we happy with this? I think this should be good enough. We won't try to, go for anything too, too complicated or anything like that just yet. One second. Okay. All right. I thought the stream started hanging. Okay, cool. Now what we can do is we can start painting. So I'll just close this. Well, it's not closing. I will take my palette here. Now I'm going to go with a very monochromatic color. I have my white. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, that should be hopefully plenty. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Kicked my camera by mistake. And I'll put a little bit of blue here, not too much. Because I want it to be a very light blue color. I'll add some water also. I'll move this to the side. Why am I simply struggling over here? And for those of you who are wondering what these colors are, these are colors from yesterday's workshop. I didn't want to throw them out, so I just kept them there so that I can use it for something else. So I'll mix this. Ooh, the paint smells strong today. I'll take a bit more water and start mixing it. You want to mix it pretty thoroughly. Now, even when you take half mixed paint, right, you can use it to get quite a few finishes, like a very marble type finish. Wow, that blue is quite strong, isn't it? I put very little blue and it's already so bright. So dark. Take a bit more more water, and mix it in here because we have quite a bit to paint, in this. Okay. You can start off with this edge over here. Yeah, just like that. And be careful of, a bit of splinters. We don't want wood sticking into our hand. This in there. Okay, I'll take a bit more blue. So I'm starting off with the top. And then I will go to the sides. Like this. But you can make whichever color you like. Why don't you guys tell me what your favorite color is? Or maybe what type of color would you use instead of blue? This. Yeah, it looks like a really nice blue color. Now what I will do, now see, remember wood, right? It absorbs water quite easily. So once this dries, it will dry much darker than what it looked like when you put the paint on it. So I'll just turn this to the side, like that. Let's see, I'll try reducing the brightness over here. Okay, that should look much better, but now the color will look much darker. It's not this dark. Now I'll take my blue, I'll take some water first. put some water here, mix it really well, and then start spreading this. Now remember, wood is not a flat or a smooth surface. Now, no matter how much you polish it, the wood is, you could think of it like our skin. We have pores that we can't see, but just because we can't see them does not mean that they do not exist. So the same thing over here with the wood. I'll put it all the way through here. Make sure we cover it entirely. Like that. Okay, then we'll go to the other side over here. Now let me see if, so we'll hold it like this. This is quite close to the camera. Okay, I know it's very close, but please just 2 minutes. I'll try to finish this area as quickly as possible. I know you don't want it to be in your face, and I myself do not want it to, really be in your face like that. Oh shit, there are still 2 more sides left. Excuse me. So I'll mix. So I'll keep mixing this again and again. You need to make sure that it doesn't dry out. And try to, not really spread it too wide while you're mixing, or else you'll end up painting your palette instead of whatever you have to paint. See, this is quite absorbent, which is why the paint doesn't spread entirely. I have to really scrub into it. Scrub into it. See over here also. Now I've taken quite a big brush, and if this were on paper, I could have covered the entire paper with just taking paint one time on this brush. Like that. Now, one of the reasons as to why I'm painting this first, like after the glass, is so that the glass can dry entirely, and by the time I'm done with this, I can then start working with the POP. Okay, and now one last part that is again right in your face. I'll take this paint. I'm taking quite a lot of paint just so that this thing can get covered. Yeah, like that. Okay. We have to paint this inner part as well. So what I'll do is I'll keep a tissue ready with me. Okay, this seems to be dried really well. It doesn't seem to be coming out. So what I'll do is when I paint, right, like let me just say if paint comes over here, I can just take this tissue and wipe it off. But I don't think I have enough paint. Okay, I'll need to remix the paint. So I'll take a bit of blue again. Just a small dot. How many of you crack your necks? Okay, and then I'll take a bit more paint also. As much as I feel is enough. Now, of course, when you are, creating this mirror tray, you can try to fill in these areas here. But since I am, quite limited on time, I have to do jugaad. But as long as the point is getting through of how to do this, that is what is important to me. Like this. Okay, nice. Let's mix it a bit more. I know you really can't see the puddle over here, but there is quite a bit. Okay, I'll remove whatever extra is there. Then we'll start painting this like that. Maybe I should have painted this first. Possibly, if you want, you can do that. So now see, there is a bit of paint on this. So I'll just take some tissue and wipe it off before it can dry. I think what I will do is I will just paint this one side and finish it, and then I can do the POP. Same thing here. Just make sure you clean this really well. You don't want the paint to stick onto the glass, or else it won't be as reflective as it is supposed to be. Now it is pretty easy to clean acrylic from glass. You can just take a cloth and clean it, but you'll have to start scrubbing it and whatnot, and why do you want to do the extra work, right? So this is what we have done so far. Now this looks like it's blue, but that is because of the reflection. If I change it here, you can see it is white, but when I go this way, it is blue in color. Okay. I'll keep this here, and I will take my mug. Let me just keep this down for the time being. Okay, because now comes the tricky part. So I have a whole tray here with some POP. You can use any one that you get in your local shop. But before I open this, you know what, I can open it and keep. So I can show you. Where's my cutter? Like that. Okay. So I have my POP in here, which I will just put to the side. Would this be enough? I think maybe that much should be enough. Let me see. So I even have, I'll keep this to the side. So I'm using a plastic here for my hand to mix all of this. So I'm really showing you, like if you do not have materials at home, what you can do. And then I took a piece of cardboard, which I will use to spread it out. So let me just see how far this thing can spread, assuming this is the tray. Now you don't need to do this, but okay, yeah, this should be enough for the tray. Okay. Is this only paint or a mix of POP too? So this is POP, which I will be adding paint into. Just be careful you don't inhale a bit too much of this. Okay, you'll see me, really rub my nose and stuff. That's only to keep the powder away from my face. Okay, now I will take, one second, just clean these brushes. Now I have red color here, which I will put in this bowl. Okay, like that. And then I have some clean water here, not a clean glass, but a clean water. And I'll just mix water into this. Take my brush, make sure I have removed as much blue paint as I can from this. And now we make our soup. some nice acrylic soup. Now, why am I mixing acrylic paint into water separately like this? That's because I want to change the color of this POP to red. So just be careful, we don't want to really drop this. So now this is only water and acrylic paint. And see, if you look at the brush, you can see how it's not fully red. There are still some blobs of paint which I'm assuming are stuck to the side. Okay. I hope this much water is enough, but let's wait and find out. Where is that plastic gone? Okay. Here's my glove. I think some POP entered my nose. I'll take this and I will start pouring little by little in. Now I want it to become a paste. I don't want it to be too liquidy or too okay, I think I might need a lot more water over here. Yeah. So I'll start taking it little by little. I'll really mix it up. Now, if at all it does end up, a little too liquidy, we can always add more powder to this, which is why I kept some powder to the side. So you want it to become a paste. We don't want it to become watery. So I'll take all of this, move it to the side. And there is still some paint in this corner here. So we'll just really squish our way through. And if you feel like you need to add more water, I'll put some water here and add little by little. Let's see, if there is less powder, you can always, if there is more powder, you can always add more water to it. But if there is more powder, you can't remove water from this. So we want to make it into a very nice paste. I'm sorry if the sound of the plastic is too loud, but some things are just like that. Now if you have gloves at home, you can use gloves, but now I am doing this with the assumption that you do not have gloves at home. So while I start this workshop saying, hello, welcome to Rooftop, I am Joshua. In reality, this is, hello, welcome to Jugaad with Joshua, and I am Joshua. So if we see over here at the bottom, there is still some POP that hasn't been mixed. So I'm taking it in my hand and then I'm just squishing it through like this. Now remember, when you add water to this, the quantity becomes more because now you have the POP powder and you have the POP and the water, the POP water. There's no such thing as POP water. So you have the water and the powder being mixed, which then increases its quantity, making clay or like a texture paste. Somewhere in between. So we want a bit of texture and we want it to be a bit like a clay as well. But I think you could say more like a texture paste. That would be much better. Because clay can be a little too hard or a little too stiff. So a texture paste would be the right saying, you could say, or the right term. Okay, now that I have all of this here, I get all of that. Looks like a murder scene. I will take this and just start pulling all of it out. We don't want to waste anything. Like that. So you can see it's quite, well, the saturation is quite high, but you can see it's pretty thick. It's not too thin, it's not too thick also. And we need to work on this before it can dry out. Okay, so I will just leave this over here. And with this I will put it to the side. So it is still a little bit powdery in case you're wondering. Okay, how do I do this? I will put this on top here. I know you can't see it, but please look at me. Okay, I'm at the top left, top right. So just look at me from there. Okay. So I will take this and I will scoop out a bit of the POP. Like that. And then what I will do is I'll put this down and spread it like this. It should be like that. Oh, that looks so good. So for those of you wondering, this is also my first time working on something like this. So it is equally exciting for me as well. I'll put this here. I'll just be a little careful around, these areas. This over here also. Just make sure we really spread it evenly. Ooh. Okay, so you want to make sure you go in one direction. Just like that. I'll take a bit more. Over here. I'll put this down and spread it all the way to the sides. Just like that. So you can see how it's automatically filling in the gap. And if you feel like this piece is, really done for, you can then take another piece of your cardboard. So I'll put this one down here like that. Now I'm sorry I'm not putting even the POP in the camera, but the space I have is quite limited. I'm very tempted to stand actually. Okay, now over here, I'll just try to push it all inside. Sorry if my head comes in the way. Like that. And then I will use a bit of pressure to flatten it out. Same thing here. Spread it out as much as you can. Here I'll use another piece of cardboard. I'll put this there in one corner and then spread it out like this. I'll rotate it. Put this here. And again, it might start drying a little soon, so just be a little quick with this. Rotate it and start spreading it around like that. Then here also. I think what I can do is I can just chop this part. Be careful of your finger when you do so. Okay, and then I can spread this also towards the corner. Push it back. Now if it starts coming out like this, that means it is starting to dry. So I'll take a bit of the wet POP. And start pushing this in. If you have something metallic also to spread, that also could be pretty nice. This I'll put here. Okay, now I have a much wider one here, which I will use to really even out the surface. Whatever extra is there, right? You can just remove this. You can mix a little bit. I will take some over here. Oops, and really just push it all into the corner like that. Remove all of this extra. the corners over here. So whatever you feel like is drying out, right? You can remove all of that and put it back in your bowl where the POP is. And for some parts you can use your hand as well. See? So you'll have a bit more control with your hand as compared to with the tool. Here as well. Just use my finger to really push this down. Fill in these areas. Like that, whatever extra is there, you can just pull it out like this. Same thing with this corner here. Pull it out. And don't worry if it dries out on your hand, you can easily clean it. So you can see how it is starting to really take shape. So I think in this I've used about you could say around like half a kilo of POP, not too much. Now whatever dry POP is that, I just mixed a little bit of water into it so that it dries out. Not too much. Like over here at this side. So see, it is still a paste. My hand is very pink. Just like this, and then you can pull it out. And same thing with this side. You can add a bit of this wet POP that I put onto this. Like that. And it feels quite good in the hand also. My nose is getting a bit stuffy, I think with the powder going inside. You can rotate this. See over here. There you go, that looks much better. And then this side also. A bit here. And then we can clear out the part which has, the POP covering it. Now see, now it's okay for the POP to cover the sides, because then we can paint over it, like these sides over here. So we'll have to wait for the POP to dry and then we will paint over it, not immediately. like that. Over here it is a bit dried out, but that's okay. Wow, that looks like something. Okay, so there you go. And now we'll see that some of this glass, right, it's not very reflective. That's because it is still a little bit dirty because of the POP. So what we are going to do after this is we need to let it dry for, say, about a day. And then we'll take a sponge, not a wet sponge, slightly damp sponge, and then just brush over the mirror. And what that will do is it will really clean the mirror, and it will give it that reflection that it has. Okay, so I need to use my left hand for this. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me and my POP hand. And I hope you got to learn something new as well. This is something that we have done for the first time on our YouTube live. So if you want to see more content related to this, or maybe some other workshops also, you can have a look at our YouTube. And if you like to know what we do more at Rooftop, you can have a look at our website and download our app as well. Thank you, Neha. I hope you and I hope everyone got to enjoy this as well. So if you have any questions, you can drop it down. And we have a WhatsApp group where I will be posting the final result of this tomorrow once it dries out. So if you're not there, you can go and have a look. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again in the evening. Bye-bye. I gotta use my left hand.